Nation. Crypto Warriors, welcome back to the channel. Oh man,
Champions.
there is a certain level of silence that is vibrating through the wall right now. And I think that silence is the silence of people who have made massive mistakes, right? And the other part of that silence is just the people who are being offended, just standing there watching at the offenders, like the bankers. You know, it's incredible.
You mean it's the calm before the storm? Or the storm is
You can call it
just
that. You can call it the calm before the storm. That's for sure. Definitely. Well, let's jump in here, man. Let's see what's going on, and let's take on this show this morning. Let's see who's in the comment section, man. We have Alipo Rodriguez. That's actually a smooth name, man.
hmm
He rose very easily off the tongue. Good morning, sir. How you doing today?
ah,
Absolutely incredible. Double up. Top
yes.
of the morning to you, sir. How's the
Champion.
day going?
Recovering from COVID, y'all.
Oh, jeez.
All that vaccine didn't work.
Oh man,
I
look at
still
that.
got COVID
Did you get triple?
again.
Did you get triple vaxxed or did you get quadruple vaxxed?
I
Or
think I stopped after the second one.
oh,
That's
then
it for me,
no,
man.
man. You cannot quit after the second one, bro. Okay, you cannot stop, man. Quitters are losers, sir. You have to keep jabbing until you can no longer get
Oh
anything at all.
man, I'm not sure if the
Hmm?
jamming works, man. You just stay neutral.
Listen, keep jabbing until it works. That's how these
Oh
things
yeah, man. I survived COVID. I'm back.
go.
I'm back.
Well. El Demnam El is in the house. Good morning, everyone, and good morning, gentlemen.
The
Good morning
original
to you too, sir.
champion.
Look at that, man.
Champion.
Gentleman and a scholar. See how these
Mm-hmm.
people talk. Very
Mm-hmm.
smooth and nice, man. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be like them when I grow up.
I'm gonna take you to the farm though. I take you to the farm. Come hang out with me in Nigeria.
Incredible. Listen, today, okay, we're going to be talking about Credit Suisse. Let me roll back before we even jump into this because we're not going to go through the whole documentary, and maybe we'll just drop the comment down below so you guys can check it out. But to summarize it, when I first sent it to you, I said
Yep.
these people have set up a ticking time bomb, and Bloomberg has made a fancy documentary about it.
How you gonna say it like Trump?
Because when I'm really getting into this is the thing. I think I've cracked the code, okay? I know why Trump does this all the time. Because when you do this, okay,
Clear the coast.
the words are flowing out of your mind and it's just like you're throwing it right at your target. When you start doing this, your mind is just flowing. I don't know. I talk with my hands. Beautiful thing.
Cleared your mind, entered your brain.
This is why I can't stop, man. Incredible.
Moses
Yeah,
of the mind.
listen, man. Especially when you're talking about catastrophic plans, it's just so mind blowing that you cannot even keep it together, right? So, in summary, as we know, Credit Suisse, one of the biggest banks out there,
Mm.
as well as UBS,
Mm-hmm.
right? I know when this started going down, you were telling me about it. What happened? It seems like Credit Suisse went bankrupt, or at least uh, what happened to them? Were they were insolvent at some point with the
Yes.
whole Silicon Valley Bank situation?
Actually, Silicon Valley Bank did not really impact them, but the same situation happened to them.
Exactly.
Bank runs.
But this time around, I
Yep.
know there was someone who was supposed to bail them out, and this person, some guy in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Because as this whole thing unfolds, we see how much of a sham the banking system is. Right? The
Mm-hmm.
fact that they're looking to an individual to bail out your whole system is asinine to begin with. So as this all unfolds, we get to this point where UBS, which is supposed to be
Another Swiss bank.
another Swiss bank, right? Supposed to be
Mhm.
a safe, posh bank, where you go hide
Uh,
all of your fraudulent money and then have some tea with the rest of the other people who act like everything is calm and collected.
UBS has its own history too.
Exactly.
They're supposedly less riskier now after 2008, but as you will find out,
It's never less risky. We'll find out after this, right?
yeah,
Because they've set up this whole system after purchasing Credit Suisse,
hmm
and it seems to me like this is a ticking time bomb.
too big to fail.
All right.
You know what's funny though? I would
What's that?
like to say is that when
Yeah.
the big money start feeling the impact, which we just the regular small people have been feeling for so long, it's okay. It's when the big people start feeling the impact
Right.
that oh now it's a big problem. It's been a problem forever. We've been complaining about banks.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
now the banks are now showing their true colors, and folks are like, "Oh, the world is about to come to a financial recession."
Well,
It's
the worst one for me is the people who are not even aware because they don't understand how all of this stuff works. So let's play a short clip here, and we'll just break this down.
coming to you from Bloomberg Television, by the way.
I love. Here's the thing: Bloomberg is horrible, but I love them, man, because they just give you this sense of comfort in the worst situations, like they're about to do right now.
Don't worry, we got it under control.
Exactly right.
Typically, bondholders take precedence over shareholders. That means the people who loaned the company cash get their money back before the people that own the business. What happened with Credit Suisse was that people who owned the company's shares received a total of about $3 billion, dollars, far less than the company had been worth just days earlier, but a class of debt, known as additional Tier 1 bonds, was completely wiped out to the tune of $17 billion. Dollars.
They were asking, look,
Wow.
we are losing all our money now. Why would we give you money in the future? And that was another big problem of this merger because it will make financing for Swiss banks when they want to lend more expensive going forward.
The deal brokers maintained that this was the best of a bunch of bad solutions. There's another reason why the new UBS mega
The best of a bunch of bad solutions. This
Deal,
is where we are.
deal breaking happening in backdoors.
Yeah,
Notice this does not happen on the blockchain.
it
This is
doesn't.
why we keep telling folks that yes, you have to consider this new technology that is a lot more transparent.
Right.
Then when you have banking situations where bonds are being exchanged backdoors, right?
Right.
Deal breaking being done in the backdoors as well, which is what we're saying is the financial revolution that we need is that transparency. What are the banks doing with our money? What have they been doing now with the big folks' money? Now it's now really coming to the open. To the open.
Hmm.
Excess leverage, over purchases of bond. There actually have to be some investigation on what goes on in the bond market. How a company, how your mortgage, your
Yeah.
debts can
Yeah.
be packaged up as a good bond and then sold out
Absolutely.
and then made money upon money over stuff that does not really exist.
It's an asinine idea, and I think that's the type of stuff that we need to kind of reel in, right? To have just a system that is really basic at its core, right?
Mhm.
Because that's really where all of this has to stem from. Because all of this credit stuff is just there's a point where it gets so out of control that you cannot keep up with it anymore, right? And if the people who went to school for it cannot get it, I don't see how they expect the average person to understand this stuff, right? So, yeah.
megabank could be problematic for a small country like Switzerland.
The Swiss state is hoping that by merging these two companies, you get a bit of the best of both worlds. So you get the expertise that's been developed at Credit Suisse and perhaps some of that more innovative stuff, but then also the stability and this sort of stoic culture that UBS has.
UBS now, after the takeover, has provided stability straight away, but it creates a potentially bigger problem in the future.
UBS's balance sheet is now twice the size of the Swiss economy. That's obviously massive. And it begs the question, if UBS were ever to run into trouble, could Switzerland afford to bail them out?
In the last financial crisis, we talked about
No, I think that's pretty much the main point there. So they merged these two catastrophic situations to now create this one
Bigger
gigantic shebang, which is now twice the size of the
wrecking
Swiss
ball.
balance sheets, with the expectations that if they fail, right, the Swiss
If the
government
Swiss,
is supposed to try to bail it out,
if the Swiss fail, if UBS fail,
right?
a lot of governments are going to fail. Because if you think about it,
Well,
when you think of Nigerians, the super rich,
right.
where do they hide their money?
This is true.
Swiss.
In Swiss accounts, yeah,
Swiss accounts.
yeah,
And now it's now going to UBS. I'm not sure if they even lost their money with the old Credit Suisse situation, right?
yeah. Well, I think it's just very clear, man. This setup here, it's very clear to me that it's something that is set up to fail. So that is likely going to happen. But then we also think about the idea of CBDCs coming in, right? Where like every other disaster that has happened before,
Mm-hmm.
there's always a way for them to pass the losses on to the people and then, just regenerate the wins back for themselves. It's just what it is. Like if you look at the ECB, we look at the head of the ECB.
Mm-hmm.
She's, this lady is like, she was
Lagarde,
sitting. Yeah, there was a point. Yeah, Lagarde, right?
Christine Lagarde.
There was one point this lady is sitting there going, "Well, we can fix this inflation situation. We under
We don't know where it's come
Yes."
from.
It got to a point where she clearly admitted that they have wrecked this thing and there is no way out of it. Right.
Yo.
Then you fast forward like a year, and this lady is sitting there. The issue has not been resolved whatsoever, but she's here talking about CBDCs and how at some point, if you're spending a certain amount of money in
Mm-hmm.
cash, it's going to be a crime.
Mm-hmm.
Well, have you fixed what you've already broken before? So it's like there is no evidence that anything that these people have in place actually works. There's no evidence that they actually generate and push the economy for the better of their society. It's just not happening, because we can also see that free markets will also, Bitcoin is proving this right now, right? With the free markets, people can determine and really transact with each other without all the oversight and all the other
I,
in between stuff that they have going on.
I would say that there's still a lot of unknown as in terms of using Bitcoin to run the economy.
Okay.
But the system that we have now, we already know. It's just that we keep trying to lie to ourselves that it's
Okay.
acceptable. We know it doesn't work. It's just filled with a bunch of frauds, a bunch of lies, right? It's
Right.
been around for centuries. And actually, yeah, 2 centuries now, or 3 centuries or more. And we know that it's corrupt. But what we people need to tell ourselves is that, can we try something else? Can we give ourselves a chance to try something else, knowing the fact that we have a failing system that is just, it's almost like the argument, oh, you got Bitcoin before I got Bitcoin, so
Right.
because of you got Bitcoin before I got Bitcoin,
Mm.
you're going to be much wealthy.
Right.
What happens in the Bitcoin space is that it's circulatory, right?
Mhm.
Because you had fiat first does not mean that, oh, me getting the chance to have fiat is doomed. That is actually what goes on in the fiat space,
Okay.
with the old folks that, you got a chance to use your weapons to take over countries because
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
had access to the weapons first. That's what happens in the fiat space. In the Bitcoin space, though, that does not happen, which is why I say it's what giving Bitcoin a chance for running an economy,
Yeah.
because we know it's a newer system. We know it's transparent. It's not full of a bunch of fraudulent stuff
I don't.
compared to,
I don't think it's a new system though. I think that's where I would disagree with you,
yeah.
because it's not a new system, and I say it's not a new system because it's really the principles of Austrian economics, which
Mm-hmm.
we already know works
Mm-hmm.
factually, because math is math and will always be math,
Yeah.
right? What the issue becomes when people start expanding the balance sheet.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, it's no longer that part of it is what we don't know to work. As we can see, they're struggling to balance it all the time, whether it's pumping money or pulling money out of the economy.
Yep.
But you're manipulating the overall value, which kind of undermines what the market. This is why the stock market is not correlated to production anymore. It's just whatever the Federal Reserve decides,
Market makers.
right? That's what I'm saying. And with removing that, right, I think that just going back to the basics, it really has to be very rudimentary. That works.
You actually brought up another solution here. I think Bitcoin creates that world where corporations can tokenize their shares
Right.
instead of going through the stock market, therefore removing the manipulation. Will be more transparent. That's another old conversation there.
It is. Well, or you could just do what UBS and Swiss Bank are doing here. You guys let us know in the comments
They
what
call
you
it
guys think.
expanding the economy, right?
Okay.
For you to expand the economy, you need to print more money. That is what the Chicago economics talks about, right? But for you can also
Yeah.
expand the economy by increasing your production, right? So
Mm.
what America has stopped doing is increasing
Producing.
production
Yeah.
and bringing in more import, letting external countries do all the work for them. That is what globalization is for us, which then allows us to cheat by printing fake money, by giving people fake money, and
Yeah.
then getting their product and services back. And what the world is starting to realize, thanks to the internet, is that people are starting to say, wait a second, you guys are lying to us. You're stealing our resources, our wealth, and you're giving us back fake money.
Yeah.
And that we need to fix. So that's one of the reasons why Bitcoin is here to fix that. It's like, proof of work. You can't just print money, you have to put in the work.
Mm.
And the goodness about that actually even pinks into the old ESG and impacting the environment situation.
Was that
Because for you to increase your production, there's going to be some impact to the environment. But guess what? You can do that with less impact to the environment with Bitcoin compared to fiat. That's a lot of conversation we can have about this, but it's all literally links together.
Absolutely. I see where you're coming from with that. Absolutely. Well, any final thoughts here before we close this one out? Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the video today was short. Today's topic is short, but I just think that there's a lot of ramblings going on that has been kept really, really quiet that
Right.
nobody's talking about. And I think it's about time that we start bringing it up so that people realize that we're in big danger.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, uh, until next time,
Yep.
this has been a very interesting one. Hope everyone has a spectacular Monday. G Perry in the house. Good morning to you too, sir. He says not a quadruple jab. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, until next time, please do not forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Twitter as well, StackFin, Facebook, StackFin. We are still banned on Twitter, on Instagram. We've just been lazy to take off that thing. We need to take it off
Yeah, we
because,
need to redesign
because
something
honestly,
else.
I give up on Instagram, man. I'm just gonna move on with my life.
Yeah.
And of course, we are on Spotify, Stack. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's been absolutely incredible.
Double O out.
Peace. Perfect.